guys like my nails? Just in time for the end of 2025, I have finished a sketchbook. I finished a sketchbook in less than a year, and it is a huge visual to how much I have grown and how much I practice my art practice. Even though it's not a huge sketchbook, which was a challenge in of itself because I work big and I like a big paper and big size sketchbooks, but this is a small sketchbook, and the one that I'm working in right now is a small sketchbook. So I'm trying new things. I'm just going to do a tour of the sketchbook, do a flip through so that you guys can see what I've been creating in the sketchbook, Let's get into the sketchbook. This cover design is a signature cover design of mine that I have on a lot of my different journals. I continue to paint this design, and I will paint this design on my new sketchbook because I just love flowers and florals. It's a huge inspiration in my work. And this is one of those visuals for a bigger painting. If you guys have seen this video on my channel, I actually did this in a YouTube video, and I painted that painting in that YouTube video if you want to check that out. But this was really me practicing and working with oil pastels, which I love. I love oil pastels so much. A problem that I did have when I would do this before is I would work with oil pastels and I would have these colors, and I would try to get the colors as perfectly as they are in oil pastel form on my painting, but when you're working with a different medium, it's not always going to be like that. So if you do this, I would say give yourself a lot of creative freedom with this. You can have this visual, and then once you go to canvas, you can change it up. It's not going to be the same that it is here, which you will see later in the sketchbook. I have lots of paintings that were based off of visuals in here, and they don't look the same. You can tell it was inspired by it, but I let myself flow freely once I got to the canvas and changed the colors and whatever I wanted to do, whatever I wanted to add, and it didn't have to be exactly what I put on this paper. More oil pastel studies and just fun. These did not turn, oh, this one turned into a painting, but this one did not. This is one of my older paintings, and this set of oil pastels is the Artesio or Arteco oil pastels. I'm gonna link them down below, but they're really good for beginners. I would definitely recommend these. Now I'm getting into Cinnelier oil pastels and RNF. I'm excited to see how those are going to act on my canvas. This is some leftover acrylic paint from a painting that I did, and I love doing that. I love putting like the leftover globs of paint I have into my sketchbook because sometimes they turn into cool color combinations, as you will see later in the sketchbook as well. That can also be inspirations for a painting. This is a oil pastel drawing of a painting I was trying to do. It actually failed. I did not like how it came out, and I love the oil pastel version of it way better. You try some things, you fail some things, and art is not about succeeding or stuff looking good all the time. This is some more oil pastel drawings with some paint globs on it. I think this did turn into a painting, and this is one of those where the painting did not look anything like what it looks like here. This is also some leftover paint from my palette. This is a flower. Very cute flower, actually. I love this. Just playing in my sketchbook, because that's what your sketchbook is really supposed to be for, play. This is a, you know, this actually reminds me of a painting I just did on a mini canvas. I have to get it because, wow. This is some oil pastel drawing that I did months ago here, and it was supposed to be turned into a big painting, and it never did. But current day, yesterday, I painted this, and it's literally like the same concept and the colors. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Do you see that? Wow. And I had this concept, these colors together months ago, and I did it yesterday. That's crazy how your art just follows you. Maybe everything you do is forever in your mind, and it can inspire things later down the line, even years or months. This is another oil pastel drawing that I did, and it was supposed to become a big painting, and it did become a big painting, but it was inspired by it. But I completely took it into a different field and allowed myself to be creative with how it turned out on canvas. This is something that I do a lot, where I will just write down ideas for paintings, because ideas for my paintings come to me in colors and words. So I write down lots of words, and I do a lot of color studies and just putting color blotches in my sketchbook because I get inspired by that. And sometimes a lot of the times words inspire what I paint, and so I write them down and I write shapes I want to put or emotions, materials, and that's what this is. This is basically a word concept of a painting. This is a bunch of leftover pink paint that I had, and I use heavy body acrylics, so you can see the paint marks and the extra globs of paint on here, which is super cool. This is more words and just like a concept of lines and words. And this is a old painting that is on my Instagram as well. Very old painting with blue and orange lilies and cheetah print. And it just came to me and I wanted to write it down. This is another oil pastel drawing that turned into a bigger painting that I didn't like, but I love the oil pastel version of this. This is a really pretty like flower. It's like a fictional flower, I guess. This is another oil pastel drawing. It did end up becoming a painting that I never finished, which is rare for me. I actually don't have a lot of unfinished works. I actually finish a lot of my paintings, but sometimes I have paintings that I don't finish, and this is one of them. I can't remember why I didn't finish it, but I do love the oil pastel version of it. This is some leftover paint, probably from when I was painting that on canvas. These are some words that probably came to me about a painting, or it was this painting. I love doing oil pastel flowers. I drew this oil pastel flower on the beach one day, and I love doing that. I love taking my oil pastels to the beach. It is just amazing. You should get out of your studio to paint. If you're an artist, whatever creative work you do, if you can do it outside, you should. It makes the experience so much more transformational. I get inspired by the things that I see because I'm outside and I'm in nature, and also just feeling the breeze on me and just connecting with the elements. I'm not sure what this is, but it's more lines and words, so probably an painting inspiration page. I love doing these videos because it's fun to see how other people use their sketchbook. So I want to show you guys how I use my sketchbook, and it's inspiring to see how artists utilize this space that can be taken less serious than a full-blown canvas, and seeing how they transfer their practice here. This is some leftover paint and some words, and these are more words and colors that I wanted to use in a painting. I also put this scrap piece of, I'm not sure what this is, but I think I wanted this texture in it, and I think I used this on that painting, and that's why there's paint on it, and just flowers that I wanted. This is one of my favorite paintings, my red lily painting, and it came from this page. This is a beetle. I tried to draw a beetle, and I don't know, I just don't like drawing. And so I didn't end up finishing it, but it was super fun to do. It was fun to paint the yellow over it, honestly. This is a mixture of paint and oil pastels. I still plan to turn this into a big painting, but basically I had painted leftover paint on this page, and then I went over it with like oil pastels, and I was just in a flow state, and this came out when I was done. I don't know what happened. I was gone. And then this came out, and it's beautiful. I love it. I love oil pastels and acrylics. I always put them together, even if the acrylics are wet. I break all the art rules. I add textures together and things that aren't supposed to go together, but it creates stuff like this. And like this happened because the acrylic was like wet, and the oil pastel gets this like gummy texture whenever it comes into contact with it, and so it doesn't blend properly, but that made a statement in the piece. This is another reason why I add leftover paint into my sketchbook, because I like to come back and add oil pastels on top, and then those can become big paintings. These are some oil pastel color studies. I wanted to put colors together to see what their relationships are to each other, to help me when I paint big paintings and choosing color combinations. And they transferred pretty bad, so there's a bunch of like specks from the other color page on either one, but that's okay. I love doing these as well because, like I said, they help me pick color combinations for my big paintings, and they're also super fun to do. I love these colors and these blues with the whites and these neutral colors. Neutral colors like this, toned down reds and oranges and yellows and greens are like my favorite colors to use. These are alcohol markers. I love coloring books, so I do have like a bunch of coloring books, and I have 2 sets of Ohuhu markers, and I love to play around with those sometimes in my sketchbook. And I guess this is another color study, but I was just playing around with some texture and lines and marks, just like I would in a big canvas painting, and this is beautiful. love this. I definitely should turn this into a big painting, but I think I was at work when I did this, and I was just one of my older jobs, and I was just playing around. And alcohol markers are an interesting medium as well because they are blendable. Like, they're markers, but they're blendable. If you push it and keep pushing it more, you're gonna be able to blend those colors into each other, but you gotta do it when it's wet. And then to create the areas like these, you just get the like a lightest color, or even leave some of the paper white and then go in with that other color that's slightly darker and make these gradients. And that's why I love alcohol markers, because they're a versatile medium. And it reminds me of my acrylics. Then I colored some flowers with my alcohol markers. I love like drawing like this, where I can just go straight in with color and I don't have to use graphite, because the graphite and charcoal are cool, but they're just boring to me because there's no color. And color is why I love art so much. And so I just like to go in straight with the color. There's no outline here. I didn't sketch this out or anything. I just went in straight with shadows and colors. And I did a flower like this for my scrapbook. These are really, really, really fun to draw. So this is another color study I did with some Ohuhu alcohol markers. This is another page with words to inspire a painting. I had made a painting inspo page in one of my moleskin journals because I didn't have my sketchbook, but I have a brainstorm journal, so sometimes I do it in there. And I just put it in here, and I wrote down shapes and colors I wanted to use. More word inspo, more word vomit that comes in my head that I organize and turn into a painting. And this is from my video on teaching you guys how I mix colors. And I just put the colors that I use into my sketchbook so that I can come back to these colors and just remix my own colors. This was such a fun page to do. I was playing around with watercolors, which is another one of my favorite mediums, becoming one of my favorite mediums. I can't wait to get some Tomboy Fudonesque. Is that it? Is that what they're called? It's definitely different from acrylic. And I like the differences that it has. I like, you know, playing with water. It's all about what water, how much water you're putting in it, or if you put water on the page. There's all these different techniques that you can use, and I just love the variety of that. And I love the water. I love playing with the water. And I just stapled the napkin to the page, but obviously when it was wet, it was like much more vibrancy on this napkin. Now it just looks like a normal napkin, but it was very vibrant and colorful, and that's why I stapled it in here. There's more word vomit inspiration for a big painting. Some colors I mixed that I wanted to keep. Really love these colors. This is a page where I put leftover paint from a painting on this page, and then I went in with oil pastels and more paint. I went in and put like some black oil pastels and some brown paint, and I was just playing around with the page because I liked the colors that were on it. This is more oil pastel drawing fun and color studies. Oil pastel drawings over here, flowers. These are mini oil pastel studies I was doing for bigger paintings. I wish I would have filled up this whole page with these, but I like these little ones. I should do this more often. I don't do them so small so often because I love big and grandiose things, but this was fun to make. This is me attempting landscapes with oil pastels. I was trying to play around with them. I followed a tutorial to do this, and I just wanted to try my hand at landscapes because I really want to get into landscapes, but they're a lot more difficult than they seem. And so I did this, and I liked how it came out, and I loved doing it. I loved seeing the landscape come to life as I was making it. And I liked it so much that I put the film parchment paper in between it so that it didn't get ruined by the thing that's on the next page, which is more oil pastel fun that I did outside one day. I love these color combinations. I love vibrant colors. I love vibrant, noisy colors just as much as I love mute and toned down, quiet colors. This is another page of leftover paint. And then I went in with oil pastels to create these abstract scenes. So I always will have the sketchbook to look back on and see some abstract visuals that I put in here that I might want to incorporate into another piece. This page gives me like energy and like fire. I always interpret these abstract scenes differently every time I look at them. This is more word vomit for inspiration for a painting, and then there's a bunch of leftover paint on this page, and I started to go with oil pastel up here. I don't think I finished. Oh, I did. There's oil pastel in here. it's just more quiet. But I went in, I love this like gradient here. I love these colors together. Once again, I do these a lot. I put in old paint and then I go in with oil pastels here. I love this page as well. This is a 2-spread painting inspo page and painting plan page, putting down colors, textures I want to use, boxes of like how the composition is going to be, and also some color inspo. I use sticky notes as well a lot in my sketchbooks. Some more leftover paint. I started to go in with some oil pastels on this page. And I just love this color as well, which is why I wanted to put it in here. I love this color. You guys probably see this color a lot in my work, actually. More word vomit of inspo for painting, some leftover paint and oil pastel. I wrote this artist update page, which is basically like from the beginning of my sketchbook to the end of my sketchbook, I wanted to write down the things that I have been experiencing within my art practice, things that I like now that are different, and things that I do differently now. I guess just an update on my artistic eye. This is some more leftover paint that I went in with water and just moved it around. And this is also, I just made a gradient on this page. I don't know if there's any oil pastel on this page. I think there's just paint. More leftover paint. This is another oil pastel drawing fun. This is a color study, exploring the relations of color and the different vibes and emotions that they give, because all of these pages give different vibes and emotions through these colors, and they give you, the viewer, a different experience. So experimenting with that. And just like this page, more leftover paint and some oil pastel in here. I think the only oil pastel in here is white, a white oil pastel maybe. And oh wait, no, there's no oil pastel on this page. It's just paint, just leftover paint and color study really, because these colors are striking together. There's something about this. It gives you a certain type of feeling, and I would like to make this bigger. This is a painting planning page, boxes and composition and colors. And then I painted the leftover green that I had from the actual painting here. And then I did this oil pastel flower before I started painting as an inspiration of what was gonna be in the painting. And it turned out nothing like this. It looks completely different and I love it. This is more leftover paint and more painting idea words in a little box with composition. And this is the last thing that I did in the sketchbook. Just some colors together and a lily in the middle. Absolutely loved working in the sketchbook, way more than I thought that I was going to, because it's small. It's so small, and that's why I finished it so fast. But it was great. It was a great experience, and it helped me a lot. And I can see my growth in the sketchbook, and that's the most important thing. That's why every artist should own a sketchbook, not just because of the way that you utilize it, but because you can go back and look and see how much you've grown and get inspired by your old artwork. I was just looking through this and I have a lot of ideas about bigger paintings now because I've looked through this and haven't done some of these ideas yet. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope this inspired you in some way to use your sketchbook differently or to go back and look through your old sketchbooks. And I will see you in my next video.